So, good morning everyone. Very good morning. I hope I hope you're doing good. I hope the weather's okay. Yep, there we go. I'll roll this one out even further. So there you go. I'm gonna change this a little bit just to make sure it's straight. There we go. Hi, good morning, welcome. We're here to do another yoga stream, of course. This time it's more Hatha yoga, which means that the movements are made a little bit stronger. We are going to use our muscles, so it's not as much relaxed yoga, but you know, the pace is not very fast, because in Hatha yoga it's important that you take your time in a pose and that you find that stability where you can stay longer in a pose with the same strength without making it a struggle. You know, so it shouldn't become a struggle in your head or in your body. And that's what we're going to challenge today. Okay, so we're going to see if we can find that point where we can stand for a little bit without feeling like it's too hard. We're going to practice that. Okay, so we're going to start in a few minutes with 30 minutes yoga. Oh, I think I need to change that right away. Let me check that for a second. Yes. There we go. Always good to check things. Okay. All you need today is your yoga mat. It's nice to have a mat because then you have grip. But if you don't have a mat, don't worry about it. You can do it on the floor. Just make sure you don't, lean on your knees, or you have a blanket for under the knees, stuff like that, so you don't compromise. It's a lot of pressure if you're on your knees. So if you're just tuning in, welcome and good morning. We're going to do a Hatha yoga stream. Just find your position on the mat. You can just sit, or if you want to start on a chair, you can start sitting on a chair. Doesn't really matter as long as you're comfortable. You're going to want to challenge yourself today in a part of the Hatha yoga where the idea is that you stand in a pose a little bit longer. Not to make it hard on yourself, but actually to find that, they call it a bliss point. To find that point in a pose where you feel you're working, your body's working, but it's not a struggle, it's not too hard to stand like that. And that's something you can practice and something that you can extend if you do it even, try for a longer time. So we're gonna make a start with that today. And I'm gonna explain more, of course, during the session. So make sure you are sitting comfortable, straight up. So keep the back long and straight. You can slightly lift your sternum, so you open chest, shoulders, relax the belly so you have room to breathe. And if it's really hot where you are right now, over here it's quite warm, make sure you take care of yourself. Okay, so you've got some water close by. Take some more time between the poses if you want, and if you get dizzy, just sit down, head between your knees and relax, okay? So take care of yourself. Close your eyes if you want to. Just breathe and be aware of how you're sitting, how you're feeling this morning. Because every practice will be influenced by how you feel, and that could be a physical feeling. Maybe there's a part of your body that is screaming for attention. Just give it some attention so you know what you're going to work with. But how you're feeling can also be very emotional, about a lot of things. You might have a lot of things on your mind. That's okay. Just acknowledge what is there without getting engaged. You don't have to do anything about it. But the awareness is part of yoga. Being aware of yourself physically in this point. And that way, kind of prepare yourself for a yoga session. Because if you do this every time you start, your body and mind will start to remember and know, like, okay, alright, this is yoga time. Okay, focus on me, you know. A few more breaths here, take some time. And then you can slowly open your eyes again. Hello. And we're gonna warm up the back a little bit, okay? So it's a familiar exercise where you can make the back round when you go backwards. So you kind of lean into your back, you make it a round back. You can let your head relax all the way down. And when you breathe in, you come back up and you come to the front. So you open all the way, make a hollow back. Okay, so you can bring the shoulders slightly back, push out the chest and the belly. And if you want to open up the throat as well, just bring your chin a little bit up and forward. Not too much, so you don't compromise the neck. And when you breathe out, come back down, all the way around back. Breathe in, roll forward. Okay, so that's the movement. In your own pace, so use your breath to the back and to the front. So you kind of roll over your sitting bones. Tilt the pelvis backwards and forwards. So you use your entire spine for this movement. Don't make it too hard, okay? So you can choose if you want to make it a very strong movement where you kind of use a lot of strength. But I would always advise, especially when you just start, like this is the first, I'm sorry guys, I got hiccups. This is the first movement that we're doing, to keep it soft, okay? So let the back get used to, okay, we're just out of bed, stop moving, that's good. Okay, what do I need to do? You know, like that. Body needs to kind of warm up, okay? So it's important to start soft and then you can always make the movement stronger when you go on, or maybe you want to change it, you know, you can make a circle. If you want, you can go sideways one way, go to the back, go through the other side, all the way to the front again, so you can make a circle. That way you take your sides along with you in this exercise, so it's not just the back anymore. If you make a circle, make sure you keep sitting on two sitting bones, okay? So you kind of, your weight is being shifted from left to right, but make sure you don't tilt to one side or another. And then if you're making the circle, you can go the other way as well. If the circle makes you lose control of the breath or the movement itself, just go back to going back and forth, okay? So it's not important to make that circle. It might be nicer for you, that's okay. But don't lose the breathing. So when you breathe out, you go back, you breathe in, you go forward. Just a few more. And then slightly make these circles or the movement die out until you are all the way back into your center. So you feel very balanced right now when you sit, okay? So you can feel that you don't lean too much forward or backwards. Keep a deep breath. In and out. And you can roll onto all fours. I'll roll this way just for a change. Keep your hands under your shoulders. You can use your hands or your fists. For me, my fists is more comfortable because I have some problems with my wrists. And your knees under your hips. Okay, so you're standing actually quite strong this way. And just keep standing like this. And when you're ready, we're going to extend our right hand forward, right arm forward, and our left leg backwards. You can either point your foot or keep the toes on, keep the toes in. That doesn't matter. Make sure the back is long, okay? So you don't make a round back. You keep the back on. Find your balance. It's okay if you were wobbling. Your body needs to search for that. Keep breathing. And when you breathe out, slowly let your hand and your knee come back down. On your next inhale, we extend the left arm and the right leg. So you make a line, basically from left to right. Keep them extended. And you can keep them horizontally, but if you feel that's too much, if the back is going to hollow that way, just lower both hand and leg, and then it's easier to keep the back straight. Okay? So keep breathing. And when you breathe out, slowly bring them back down. Very good. You can extend your hands slightly forward on the mat. Roll the toes under. Now we're going into downward facing dog. So you lift the knees off the floor. Keep the feet hip distance apart or closer together if you like. And try to bring the weight onto the feet. And it helps if you slightly bend your knees. That way your pelvis can actually tilt. You can make a long back. So you try to make your back as long as possible. It might feel like you're even hollowing your back. Bring some attention towards your hands. All fingers are touching the mat. Okay, so the whole palm of your hand basically. Just to make sure you don't only lean on your wrists. So pay attention to how you're standing. Relax your toes. If you relax your toes, you might feel that your heels can sink a little bit deeper towards the floor, which is easier with the weight. So the weight goes more towards your feet. Keep breathing. So make sure you relax the belly enough to keep the breathing going. You're doing great. Just keep breathing. If you want to walk, you can always just bend your knees one by one. You know, walk the back of your legs a little bit, might be nice. And then you can walk or step forward all the way towards the front of your mat in between your hands. If you want to lean forward, you can just dangle for a little bit. And now roll yourself up slowly, slowly. So make sure you pull the navel in, all the way up. If you get dizzy, take some time. Deep inhalation, full exhalation. Relax for a little bit. Okay, so give your body time. Once you're okay, I'm just going to keep standing here. If you're okay, we're going to start with the first exercise. You can bring your left foot backwards into a step back. Make sure you keep the weight on the right leg. Stretch out the left leg, and when your toe touches the ground, you bring the weight along with you. Okay, so you make a very controlled step backwards. It's easier. If you take just a step, you land on your feet basically, on your foot, and it's very uncomfortable usually for your feet to have that weight all at once. Okay, so you get controlled step backwards. We're going to practice that a lot. Make sure your heels are in one line. Back foot is facing the long side of the mat, and the front foot is facing the front. Okay, so you're kind of making a 90-degree angle here. If you want to turn in the back foot slightly, you can do that. And your hips kind of already tilt this way. You can feel that you're not standing like this. Your hips are going slightly. That's okay. You can bring your hands horizontally, shoulder height, and like someone is kind of pulling your front hand, you slide forward a little bit. Now the hips come into play, they kind of help you. If they're very straight, it's difficult to slide. But if you let your hips go to the back a little bit, you kind of turn them in. And when you breathe out, slowly make a bend forward / sidewards. It's kind of difficult because you're going forward, your body's basically going sideways. Keep breathing, okay? So try to keep the weight as well on the back foot. If you have the tendency to overstretch the front knee, slightly bend it, so you use your strength and you don't hang in your joint. So your tendons, your ligaments are fine. If you want to make this into a pose where you touch the ground, that's okay. Make sure both sides are long, okay? So if you touch the ground, don't lean on it, just touch it with your fingers. And then you open up like this. So this is a triangle pose, that's Trikonasana we're doing right now, that most people know. What happens usually is this is going to round, because people want to touch the ground. But the pose is not about touching the ground, okay? It's about keeping these sides long. And this is usually better, because you use your strength, you use your belly muscles, your arms, so everything is in balance. Balance doesn't just mean that you fall to the ground, it means that you are balanced in energy and strength. So if you feel it's too much, you come up, you do this. This is a triangle pose as well, just the same, okay? So it doesn't get better when it gets more difficult. The thing is that you feel you can stand in it. You just feel that you're still strong, it's not a struggle, you can breathe. When you breathe in, come back up. And when you breathe out, relax the arms back down. Okay? When you breathe in, bend the front knee, and step to the front of your mat. There we go. Take a moment, we're going to do the other side. I'm going to switch to the other side of my mat, otherwise I'm not facing you guys. You can just stand there. And then we're going to do the right side. So breathe in, bring the weight towards the left, stretch out the right foot backwards, point the toes out, and then bring the weight when you feel your toes touching the ground. And you can always make this step bigger or smaller once you are on the ground, okay? That's perfectly fine. Adjust your feet so they are almost in one line. It's not about, centimeters on count, but just make sure you're not too much out of line. Otherwise it's difficult for the hips. Bring the hands shoulder height. If you want to turn in the hips a little bit, you can do that. So you bring, in this case, sorry, the right hip upwards a little bit and the left one in. So you kind of make that turn. Slide forward. Make sure you don't bend the front knee too much, but if you're overstretching it, bend it a little bit. And then slowly come into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Keep on breathing, and what I just told in the beginning, try to find that bliss point. Okay, so Trikonasana looks different for everyone. It's important for you to find the posture that fits you, that fits your body, and that you can stand in a little bit longer. It's way better, it's way more powerful for your body to stand in a pose a little bit longer, when it's less hard, so less, in this case less deep for example, then when you do this for 3 seconds and then you feel, okay, now I have to get out, otherwise something's gonna hurt, okay? So make sure you find your pose. And if this is comfortable for you, by all means, make sure your sides are long, not rounded, and you can just stand like this. And to measure that, the breathing always helps. If you can breathe normally, if there's no struggle in your body or in your mind, if there are thoughts like, oh please, just help me, I'm going to get out of the pose in 2 seconds, then it's a struggle. Try to keep it easy, keep it light, and when you breathe in, come all the way back up, keep the muscles strong, breathe out, lower the hands, and when you breathe in, all the way to the front of your mat. Deep inhalation, full exhalation. Take a moment here, you can just stand like this. And just take some time to feel in your body what's happening. Sometimes you immediately notice parts of your body and sometimes that takes some time. It's both okay. One more breath, and then we're gonna go to our next exercise, which is also Trikonasana, but it's with a twist, which is called Parivrita Trikonasana. We're gonna start with the right leg back. Sorry, the left leg back. My mistake. So put a weight on the right foot and then extend your left leg backwards. And this time, you can keep the heel off the floor. The important part is that your hips are facing the front. So if it's easier for you to keep the heel on the floor and then turn the hips slightly, that's okay. Just make sure both hips are facing the front of your mat, okay? Extend your arms again, shoulder wide. Make sure you don't overstretch the front knee. And then come forward slightly, as much as you like. You can come forward if you want to, you can come forward all the way horizontally. But this is enough. If you feel like, okay, this is for me today, with the weather or whatever's going on with your place or in your body, how far you want to go. And then we're going to make a twist. We're going to make a twist towards the right. So the left hand goes down slightly, the right hand goes up, trying to keep them in line with your body. So don't let the left hand drop, keep them in line. Again, if you want to go to the floor, make sure you keep your strength the way it is. So don't lean on the floor. Because then, all of a sudden, if you do that, you feel it's a very different pose. If you lean on the floor, the weight gets into your hand and you lose control of standing on your own. So it's easier for your body, well, it's not easier, but it's better. Keep the pose like this and feel the strength. When you breathe in, come back up. Breathe out, relax the hands, bend the front knee, and step to the front. Take a moment. We're going to do the other way. Now we're going to lean onto the right leg back. Stretch it out all the way back. Arms horizontally. Slightly come forward as much as you like. And then we're going to twist towards the left leg. So the right hand goes down, the left hand goes up. And sometimes for me, for example, it's a very slight twist. And I'm turning slightly towards the right, because I feel if I twist even more, I'm going to lose control. And it's going to be a struggle, because the pose is going to be so hard that I cannot keep standing in. And it's important that I feel my body's working. I feel my legs, my ankles, my balance. But I can still breathe, I can still talk to you guys. And that's kind of the point, where you feel like, okay, I'm working, something's happening, definitely something's happening, but I can breathe, it's okay. It's not a struggle, I'm not forcing my body into anything. I guess that's the thing. Don't force. You breathe in, come back to the center, keep your balance, come back up, relax the arms, bend the front knee, step to the front. Big inhalation, long exhalation. Again, take a moment of awareness in the body. What's happening right now? How does it feel? What do you need? From here, you can slightly come onto the floor. You can sit on the floor if you want to, or you can extend the legs. You can sit on the floor anyway. You can extend the legs if you want to for a second. Just keep them stretched. You can put your hands behind you. Wiggle the feet if you want to. Just make sure if there's any tension in the body that you wiggle it out, basically. And so relax it for a few seconds. Be aware of your breathing. If the breathing goes up a lot because of the exercises, maybe next time take them a little bit easier if it was uncomfortable for you, okay? If you'd like to push yourself a little, that's fine. We're going into a twist. And we're going to start with the left leg, so you keep the left leg long, right leg comes up. If you want to, you can put it over the left leg. if the foot is still on the ground, okay, if your foot is coming up, or the toes are up, keep it on the inside of your left leg. You can keep your left hand on your right knee, and then the right hand goes all the way up. So you stretch yourself all the way out. When you breathe out, you bring the right hand all the way towards the back. Okay? If you want, you can just continue sitting this way, or you can stretch out the left hand and then bring it down on the outside of your right knee. Try to find your pose. You can always change it a little bit, play with it. Feel like, oh yes, I need some more strength in my one hand or my knees. Maybe I need to put some more strength in my feet. Try to make the whole pose, try to make the pose with your whole body, okay? So every part is joining in. Your feet are also part of this pose. You know, you cannot just take them off and use them in the next pose again. One body, one awareness, one mind. Let it work together. Keep breathing softly. You might need some muscles, the belly. So try to keep the weight on the sitting bones, not too much on the right hand. So it's there. But try not to lean into the right hand too much. When you breathe out, slowly come back to the center. Extend both legs. And then we're going to change towards the other side. So the left leg, foot on the ground. If you want to put it over the right leg, you don't have to. You can hold the left knee with the right hand. And then you extend the left hand all the way towards the ceiling. And then when you breathe out, bring it backwards. So you're already making the twist. You can keep it like this. Again, if you want to make it deeper, stretch out the right hand and bring it on the outside of the left knee. You can lift the sternum, activate your feet, whole body joining in, and keep breathing again. In and out. Very nice. Very nice. If you want to, you can of course always close your eyes. Oh, and there's another part. If you want to look over the back shoulder, in this case, the left shoulder, you make a twist in the neck as well. If you feel comfortable with that, just you can do that. Otherwise, just keep the head in neutral. One more breath in this pose. When you breathe out, slowly come back all the way to the front. 2 feet extending forward. Change your mic if you have one. And then we're going to lay on our backs. Roll yourself backwards, all the way towards the floor. You can bring your feet up. If you want to, you can hold the knees and make circles. You know, we do that a lot, just massaging the lower back on the floor. Maybe you want to keep your feet on the floor and just bring the knees from left to right. Try what is good for you. Okay. Just a few wiggles, a few movements to relax the lower back because it's been working a lot today. Relax the legs, the belly. Okay. If you want to keep your knees in for a little bit, you can do that. You can just hold them for a little bit and lay like this. Sometimes it's very nice for the lower back, but also for the belly, for the intestines. It can be nice to have a little bit of pressure. Try to relax the belly, very important to relax the belly this way. Keep the breathing going, relax the head and the arms. If you feel a lot of pressure on the shoulders or on the neck, if you're holding your knees, make sure you have a pillow that you put under your head and under your shoulders. Okay, that way you lift yourself a little bit and it's easier to hold the legs without any tension. few more breaths, just a few seconds here. Just to relax the body and to prepare for Shavasana, the final relaxation pose. Yes guys, we will better. You can let go of the knees, put your feet on the ground, and then one by one, you can let the feet slide away from you into Shavasana. Extend your legs, you can bring the arms outwards a little bit, or you can leave your hands on your belly, whatever feels comfortable for you. And make sure you can let go. So all the tension you might feel, all the strength, all the balance, just to let it go. Keep the breathing soft, but don't force anything different than your natural breath right now. So just an easy in and out. And just feel how your whole body can relax onto the floor. I'm just going to take a short Shavasana, a moment to neutralize the body, a moment to calm down, to even out all strength and even out the relaxation after the asanas we already did. And this is also an asana, shavasana. So keep your awareness in the present. Try to keep your attention towards the pose, towards your breathing. And every time you feel you're drifting off, you can bring yourself back. A few more breaths here. And then you can choose to roll onto your side and come up softly and slowly. And because we're having a very short Shavasana, you can also choose to bring the knees back in again. Hold under the knees. Bring the chin towards the chest or the nose towards the knees. And you can roll. If you want to, you can roll a few times. Or you roll the back up to the mat. Make sure the spine is okay with that. And then you sit up. Otherwise, slowly bring yourself back towards the sitting position. You can bring the feet in, or sit cross-legged if you want. Anything is good, whatever suits you right now. Use your chair again if you don't want to sit on the floor. Close your eyes for a second. Try to find that neutral position, sitting as well as in lying down. Okay, so if you sit up, keep the weight evenly between your sitting bones, between the back and the front. So you use as little strength as you need to sit as comfortable and as strong as you want. Take a moment to reflect, to feel your body, any sensation that comes up, any thought that might come up, any feeling and emotion that passes by. You don't have to engage again, just notice them. Keep the breathing soft. And then you can bring your hands in front of your heart. Give yourself a smile, give yourself a hug. Okay, you did it again. You were here. You took this moment out of your day to pay attention, to be aware of your body, your mind, and your soul. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. I had a great time. I hope you did too. If you have any questions, feedback or comments, just leave them right there. I'll always answer them. We're having the same time tomorrow we're having another Hatha stream. Okay, so 8:45. And we're having a relaxed yoga stream on Friday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So maybe you want to join me there. Otherwise, I hope you're having a great week and I'll see you next time. Oh, and I see we're having a problem with the chat. I don't know why that's not working. Okay, guys. You're trying to put something in the chat. I'm sorry, I think something's wrong and I can see the chat is disconnected. So if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments. I will answer them on a different time today, okay? Have a good day.